Evelyn Park was an ordinary 16-year-old girl who loved to look at the night sky. Every evening, after finishing her school homework, she would walk to the small hill behind her home and sit there with her old telescope. The air smelled of salt from the nearby sea, and the city lights below shimmered like a river of stars. She would whisper to herself, "Someday I will understand what's out there." Her friends liked music, games, and social media. Evelyn liked silence and stars. She often felt that the universe was trying to tell her something, a secret too big for human minds to hear. But she wanted to try anyway. Her mother worried that Evelyn spent too much time alone. Her father smiled and said, "Let her dream. Dreamers change the world." One night, something unusual happened. The sky filled with streaks of blue light. It wasn't a normal meteor shower. The trails were too straight, too smooth, almost like they were alive. Evelyn's heart raced. She set up her telescope and tried to follow one bright blue line that seemed to fall toward the sea. For a second, she thought it had vanished. Then a faint hum filled the air. Gentle but deep, like the sound of a faraway instrument. The next morning, she couldn't stop thinking about it. At school, she barely listened to the teacher. When she walked home, she took the longer road by the cliffs. That was when she saw it. A small glowing shape resting among the rocks near the shore. It looked like a smooth crystal sphere, floating just above the sand. The light it gave off was soft and warm, not harsh like a lamp. Evelyn stepped closer. Her heart was beating fast, but she didn't feel afraid. The light brightened for a moment, and suddenly the sphere opened like a flower. A figure appeared, tall, slender, and covered in a silver shimmer that moved like liquid. The being had no visible mouth or nose, but two calm, shining eyes looked at her. She froze, unable to speak. "Do not be afraid, Evelyn Park," the voice said, not through sound, but directly inside her mind. It was calm, like wind over water. "I am Oren," Evelyn blinked. You know my name?" "Yes," the voice replied. "We have watched your kind for a long time. You are curious. You ask questions even when there are no answers. That is why I came." Evelyn tried to find words. "Are you from another planet?" Oren's eyes shimmered. "From another way of being. Another part of the same universe you look at every night." She felt her knees weaken but managed to smile. "Why are you here? Why me?" "Because you still listen," Oren said. "Most minds have become too loud to hear the quiet truths of the universe. You are young, but your heart is open. I want to give you a gift." Evelyn hesitated. "A gift?" Oren held out a small transparent capsule filled with glowing blue liquid. It was beautiful, like a piece of frozen sky. "This is a medicine," Oren said. "It will expand your understanding. It will let your mind learn faster, see deeper, and feel the patterns that shape existence itself." Evelyn's eyes widened. "That sounds impossible." "Many things seem impossible until they are understood," Oren said softly. "Your people are close to great discovery, but fear slows you. I cannot give this to all of humanity. They must decide that for themselves one day. But I can give it to you." Evelyn looked at the capsule. She thought of her telescope, her long nights wondering about the stars, her small life that suddenly felt much larger. She also thought of her parents, her school, her ordinary world. "If I take it," she asked, "and will I still be me?" "Yes," Oren said. "You will still be Evelyn, only more aware, more awake." For a long moment, the only sound was the ocean below. The waves moved in steady rhythm like breathing. Evelyn reached out slowly, her hand shaking slightly, and took the capsule. It was warm to the touch. "How do I take it?" "Simply swallow," Oren said. "It will not harm you. But remember, understanding is a heavy gift. Use it with kindness." Evelyn nodded. Without thinking too much, she placed the capsule in her mouth and swallowed. The light faded from her hand. For a few seconds, nothing happened. Then suddenly, her mind filled with gentle warmth, as if sunlight had entered her head. The sky seemed brighter. She could hear the faint hum of the planet beneath her feet, the whisper of the wind carrying tiny vibrations. Everything was connected, every atom dancing in perfect rhythm. She gasped. "I can feel the patterns," she whispered. She saw shapes of energy moving in the air, invisible to normal eyes. She understood things she had never learned. The language of molecules, the harmony of light waves. It was beautiful. It was overwhelming. Oren's voice returned softly. "Your mind is changing. It will take time to adjust. Rest and do not speak of this yet. Humanity must come to this truth slowly." Evelyn blinked, and when she opened her eyes again, Oren was gone. Only the soft glow on the rocks remained, fading into daylight. She stood there for a long time, staring at the sea, feeling like she had stepped into a new world. That night, she couldn't sleep. Thoughts moved through her mind like rivers of light. Equations appeared in her head, but they weren't just numbers, and they were music. She saw how stars formed, how gravity bent time, how life was a pattern written in energy. She filled notebook after notebook with sketches and ideas she couldn't fully explain. Her parents noticed the change. "Evelyn, are you all right?" her mother asked one morning. "I'm fine," she said with a smile, just thinking. At school, her teachers were amazed. She answered questions before they finished asking. She solved problems no one else could. Her classmates whispered about her, half impressed, half uneasy. Some called her a genius. Others thought she was pretending. Evelyn didn't care. Her mind was alive in a way it had never been before. One evening, her father found her in the backyard, staring at a blank piece of paper. "What are you working on, sweetheart?" Evelyn smiled faintly. "I think I understand something about energy. Something that could change everything." Her father laughed softly. "You always dream big." "Yes," she said quietly. "But this time it's real." Days turned into weeks. Evelyn's ideas spread. She shared small discoveries online, clean energy models, new ways to store information, simple designs that solved complex problems. Scientists around the world started noticing her posts. Some called her theories impossible. Others tried them and found they worked. Reporters wanted to interview her. Universities sent invitations. The world began to whisper her name. But deep inside, Evelyn remembered Oren's warning. Humanity must choose for itself. She wondered if she had done something wrong by sharing. What if people used her ideas for greed instead of good? What if her gift caused more confusion than understanding? Late one night, she went back to the hill where she had first met Oren. The stars looked brighter than ever. "Why me?" she whispered. "Why give me something I can't even explain?" No answer came, only the endless, shining sky. But somewhere far beyond human sight, Oren watched silently, waiting to see what she would do next. Evelyn sighed and looked up again. "If knowledge is a gift," she said softly, "then I'll use it to make us better, not faster." And with that she went home, not knowing that her choice had already begun to change the destiny of her species. Weeks passed and Evelyn Park's name began to spread far beyond her small city. What started as small online posts about science and ideas had turned into something bigger. Journalists called her the girl who sees the universe differently. Some believed she was a genius born once in a century. Others thought she was a fraud. But no one could ignore her anymore. Evelyn never told anyone about Oren or the strange medicine. She said little about her sudden brilliance. Whenever people asked how she learned so much, she only smiled and said, "I just started seeing things more clearly." Soon, scientists began to test her theories. They were surprised to find that her simple designs solved problems that experts had struggled with for decades. One of her ideas helped improve solar energy efficiency by 400%. Another showed a new way to recycle air in space stations using plant-based filters. The scientific world called her ideas impossible, until they worked. Evelyn was invited to speak at a university conference in Seoul. She stood nervously on the stage in front of hundreds of professors and students. The lights were bright and her hands shook as she looked at all the curious faces. "I'm not a scientist by training," she began in a soft voice. "I'm just someone who loves to ask questions. I think the universe is like a book written in a language we can all learn, if we have the patience to read it." The audience listened closely. Her simple words carried honesty and warmth. She talked about how fear often slows human progress, how people prefer comfort to curiosity. "We are afraid of the unknown," she said, "but the unknown is where every great discovery waits for us." When she finished, there was silence, and then a long applause. Some people stood and clapped with bright eyes, moved by her sincerity. Others whispered, unsure if such wisdom could truly come from a teenager. After the event, Evelyn sat outside under the night sky, watching the city lights. A tall man with gray hair approached her. He introduced himself as Dr. Min Jae-hoon, one of the world's top physicists. "Evelyn," he said gently, "your ideas are not just new. They are years ahead of anything we know. Tell me honestly, where did they come from?" Evelyn hesitated. She thought of Oren, the glowing light, the capsule that changed her forever. "I wish I could explain," she said quietly. "But maybe the right question isn't where the ideas come from. Maybe it's what we'll do with them." Dr. Min smiled faintly. "That's a wise answer. But be careful. Not everyone will see your gift as something good." He was right. Soon after, Evelyn began receiving invitations from governments, corporations, and research agencies. Some wanted to fund her work. Others wanted to control it. News channels debated her story every night. Some said she was a symbol of human evolution. Others said she was dangerous. People argued about her online. "She's an angel," said one group. "She's playing with forces humans shouldn't touch," said another. One morning, Evelyn received an official letter. It was an invitation to speak at a Global Science Council meeting in Geneva. They wanted her to present her theories to world leaders. Her parents were proud but nervous. Her mother hugged her tightly. "Remember, no matter how smart you are, stay kind," she whispered. Evelyn nodded. "I will, Mom." When Evelyn arrived in Geneva, she felt the weight of the world on her shoulders. Inside the grand conference hall, leaders from every nation were present. Scientists, politicians, and spiritual figures. Cameras flashed as she walked to the podium. A woman from the United Nations introduced her. "Evelyn Park is a symbol of what humanity can become. But today we must discuss not just her discoveries, but what they mean for our future." Evelyn took a deep breath. Her voice was steady, though her heart was racing. "I didn't ask for this gift," she said, "but I believe it came for a reason, to remind us that human potential is far greater than we think." She spoke about unity, about how knowledge should never belong to one nation or one person. "If we use wisdom for selfish gain, we destroy its beauty," she said. "But if we share it with love, we move forward together." Her words were calm but powerful. Many people in the room nodded, yet not everyone agreed. A man from a large country stood up. "Miss Park," he said sharply, "you speak of gifts and knowledge. But there are rumors. Rumors that you were given something unnatural. Is that true?" The room grew silent. Evelyn froze. Her heart pounded in her chest. For a moment she thought of lying, but then she remembered Oren's words. "Use understanding with kindness." She looked up and said softly, "Yes, I was given something that changed how I see the universe. It was not from this world." Gasps filled the room. Cameras clicked rapidly. The moderator tried to calm the noise, but people were whispering, some in fear, some in excitement. "You mean," another leader said, "you were given alien technology?" "No," Evelyn said. "It wasn't technology. It was medicine. It made me learn faster. It opened my mind." Her honesty shocked everyone. Some shouted that it was impossible. Others accused her of lying or trickery. A few looked inspired, as if the universe had just opened before their eyes. The meeting ended in chaos. That night, Evelyn sat alone in her hotel room, looking out the window at the snowy city. The news was everywhere. Human girl claims alien gift. People argued endlessly. Scientists wanted to test her. Religious leaders called it divine interference. Governments demanded control of the medicine. The world was divided. A familiar hum filled the room. The air shimmered softly and Oren appeared once more, glowing with gentle light. "You told them?" Oren said, voice calm as always. Evelyn nodded sadly. "They were going to find out anyway." "I didn't want to lie." Oren moved closer. "Now they must choose. Humanity stands before a door. Some will fear it. Others will long to open it." Evelyn looked down. "I didn't mean to cause fear. I just wanted to help." "Fear is part of learning," Oren said kindly. "Every species must pass through it before understanding. But you cannot make the choice for them." Evelyn frowned. "What if they choose wrong?" "Then they will learn from it," Oren replied. "Growth cannot be given. It must be chosen." The words settled heavily in her heart. "Will you give them the medicine too?" she asked quietly. "No," said Oren, "not yet. The offer must be made to all, but acceptance must come from them. It cannot be forced." Evelyn nodded slowly. "Then I'll speak to them again. Not as a scientist, but as a human." Oren's eyes glowed brighter for a moment. "That is why you were chosen, Evelyn Park. You see the universe, but you also see people." Before she could speak again, the light faded and Oren was gone. The next morning, Evelyn asked to address the Global Council one last time. The hall was tense. Everyone expected more arguments. But when Evelyn began to speak, her voice was gentle and clear. "I understand that many of you are afraid," she said. "So am I. But fear should never decide the future. The medicine I took was not magic. It only helped me see what humans are already capable of. Every one of us carries that same light inside. Maybe we don't need an alien gift. Maybe we just need to believe in our own power." Her words hung in the air. Some people clapped softly. Others remained silent, lost in thought. The meeting ended without a decision. The council would vote later on whether to accept or reject Oren's offer. As Evelyn left the building, snow began to fall. She walked alone, her breath visible in the cold air. She didn't know what humanity would decide, but deep inside she hoped that people would choose not out of fear, but out of wisdom. Far above, among unseen stars, Oren watched quietly, waiting for humanity's answer. The world was never the same after Evelyn Park's speech. For weeks, every news channel, every radio, and every online forum talked about her words. People argued endlessly. Some believed her. Some laughed at her. Others feared her. Scientists demanded evidence. Governments called for meetings. Religious leaders gave sermons about the danger of unnatural knowledge. But something strange began to happen. Across the world, ordinary people started talking about what Evelyn had said. Maybe we don't need alien help. Maybe we just need to believe in ourselves. Children began asking their teachers questions about the stars. College students formed groups to study clean energy and better technology. Artists painted pictures of galaxies and hope. For the first time in many years, humanity wasn't arguing about war or greed. They were arguing about the future. Evelyn stayed quiet. She returned home to her small city, away from reporters and cameras. Her parents were relieved to have her back. Her mother cooked her favorite soup and her father smiled proudly. "You did something brave," he told her. "Even if people don't understand it yet." Evelyn smiled softly. "I just told the truth." But at night, when the house was silent, she would walk up the hill behind her home and stare at the sky. She wondered what Oren was thinking. Would they come back? Would they be disappointed in humanity's confusion and fear? She didn't know. She only knew that the decision, to accept or reject the alien medicine, would be made soon. The Global Science Council had announced that in 2 weeks, a final vote would be held. Every nation would decide, should humanity accept the alien medicine or should they reject it and continue their natural progress? Evelyn received an invitation to attend the meeting. She almost didn't go. She felt tired, as if the whole world's hope was resting on her shoulders. But her father said gently, "You must see it through, Evelyn. Even if they don't listen, at least they'll remember what you stood for." So she agreed. The meeting took place in a large hall made of glass and steel, surrounded by snow-covered mountains. World leaders sat in a circle, with translators whispering in many languages. Cameras filmed everything. The world was watching. Evelyn sat quietly at the back, wearing a simple gray coat. She didn't want attention. She just wanted to listen. The first speaker was a scientist from Europe. He argued that accepting the alien medicine could advance humanity by centuries. "We could cure every disease, travel across the stars, and end suffering," he said. "Isn't that what progress means?" Then a woman from Africa spoke. "But at what cost?" she asked. "If we skip the steps of learning, will we still understand what it means to be human?" One by one, leaders spoke, some hopeful, some fearful. The debate went on for hours. Finally, the chairperson of the council turned to Evelyn. "Miss Park," he said, "you began this story. We cannot finish it without hearing from you one last time. Please tell us, what do you think humanity should do?" Evelyn stood slowly. Her hands trembled, but her voice was calm. "When Oren gave me the medicine," she said, "I thought it was a gift of knowledge. But now I understand that it was a test of wisdom." The hall grew silent. Everyone listened. "I have seen what the medicine can do. It can make your mind sharper, faster. It can help you see the patterns of the universe. But it cannot give you heart. It cannot give you kindness or patience. Those things we must learn ourselves." She paused, taking a deep breath. "Knowledge without wisdom is like light without warmth. It can show the way, but it cannot comfort you. Humanity has always grown through curiosity and courage. Maybe we are slow, maybe we make mistakes, but every step we take together. And that's what makes us human." Evelyn looked around the hall. "So if you ask me what I think, I say we should thank Oren for believing in us and then walk our own path." For a long moment, no one spoke. Then slowly people began to clap. The sound grew louder, stronger, until the entire hall echoed with applause. Some had tears in their eyes. Others simply smiled as if a great weight had been lifted. The vote took place later that day. Each country cast its decision. When the final numbers appeared on the large screen, a quiet hush fell over the room. Humanity had chosen to reject the alien medicine, not out of pride or fear, but out of faith in their own potential. The council released a statement that evening. Humanity chooses to learn, not to leap. We will grow by our own hands and hearts. The message spread across the world. People celebrated in different ways. Some cheered, some prayed, some simply looked at the stars and smiled. That night, Evelyn returned home again. She climbed the familiar hill and sat with her telescope. The air was cool and the ocean shimmered far below. As she adjusted the telescope, she saw something strange, a faint blue glow in the sky slowly descending. Just like the night she had first met Oren. Her heart raced. She stood up and waited. The glow landed softly a few meters away, and there stood Oren, shining gently like before. "You have decided," Oren said, voice calm and musical. Evelyn nodded. "We did. Humanity said no." Oren tilted its head slightly. "Are you sad?" Evelyn thought for a moment. "A little," she admitted. "Part of me wanted to see what we could become with your help. But another part feels proud. We chose to be ourselves." A soft hum filled the air, almost like a laugh. "That is why I came," Oren said. "To see if your kind would take the harder path. Many civilizations do not. They seek shortcuts. But humans, you still believe in meaning." Evelyn smiled. "Will you leave now?" "For a time," Oren said. "But I will watch. You have much to learn, and you will learn it. Slowly but beautifully." Evelyn looked at the alien with wonder. "Will we ever meet again?" "When you no longer need to ask that question," Oren replied gently, "you will be ready." Then Oren held out its hand. In its palm was a tiny, glowing seed. "This is for you," it said. "It is not a tool. It will not give you knowledge. But one day, when your world understands the balance of heart and mind, this seed will grow, and it will show you that the universe has always been within you." Evelyn took the seed carefully. It was warm, just like the capsule had been. "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you, Evelyn Park," Oren said softly, "for listening." The light faded and Oren was gone. The hill was quiet again. The stars looked closer than ever, as if they were leaning down to listen. Evelyn placed the small seed in the ground beside her telescope. Then she sat there for a long time, watching the night sky and thinking about everything that had happened. She realized that humanity's story was far from over. There would be more discoveries, more struggles, and more questions. But now there was also something new. A quiet confidence, a belief that humans could face the unknown not because they were perfect, but because they were willing to learn. Years later, Evelyn became a teacher. She taught children about science, art, and imagination. Her students loved her gentle way of explaining big ideas in simple words. She often told them, "The universe is not something far away. It lives in your curiosity." Sometimes, after class, she would take her students to the hill and let them look through her telescope. The seed she planted had grown into a small tree with glowing leaves that shimmered softly at night. She never told anyone where it came from, and every time she looked at it, she remembered Oren's final words. "When you no longer need to ask that question, you will be ready." Evelyn smiled because she finally understood what they meant. Humanity would one day reach the stars, not because of alien medicine, but because of the light that had always been inside them. She looked up at the sky, whispering softly, "We're coming, Oren." Slowly, but surely, the stars seemed to twinkle in reply.